Okay, well, welcome everybody who is watching. I am Peter at the Delta Lounge in Detroit Wayne Metro Airport, just in case anybody else is here watching.
Peter?
But I got my hardcover as my carry-on.
Peter, we were wondering why you're not here in New Jersey. What are you doing at the Detroit airport?
Well, we chased around Joe Biden yesterday and Kamala Harris today, and we got to go find Biden in North Carolina tomorrow. So we're here. And actually, I am going to move it. I hope that it does not do too much to the signal, but Pat Ward, producer extraordinaire, has helped us. We've pulled two lights over, and my suitcase is serving as the microphone stand for the evening. So
very good.
Yeah. So we've got, and Pat's right here, just
Hi,
right
Pat.
there. Just
Are you guys the only people in the club?
there's one other gentleman who's probably very confused about what's going on.
I'm Michael Ahrens. I'm the comms director.
Oh, it's Michael Ahrens, the comms director from the RNC. Oh my goodness. Good to see you. I'll get your emails a little bit later. Wow, what are the chances? Okay, well,
Maybe
if you want to log on live, Steve Doocy. But so you guys have a new cookbook because the first one was such a hit. There it is in hardcover. It looks like if you left them there behind you for much longer, that would be a real fire hazard on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It would indeed. You know, the whole idea behind the Happy in a Hurry Cookbook actually came from the book tour we did on the Happy Cookbook. It was 2 years ago. And when the Happy Cookbook came out, we went all across America. And Peter, in fact, was one of our greeters at the Walmart in Birmingham, Alabama, and in Franklin, Tennessee. It was great. People are thinking, hey, where's automotive? Hey, aren't you the guy on the news? And he would point people in the wrong direction. He kept pointing them toward the book signing, which was excellent. But so we went all across the country to explain the idea behind the Happy Cookbook, because there are certain foods that when you eat them, it just reminds you of happy times. Like in the Happy Cookbook, Kathy knows this, every October 19th, my birthday, which is coming up, she will make my mom's the same pot roast that my mom made, and she'll make the German chocolate cake. And when, you know, it's so simple. Everybody's made this. It's the cream of mushroom soup, the Campbell's, and then you put the dry Lipton onion soup in it, and you stir it up. You put the pot roast in it. You put it on the stovetop. It stews all day. And when I walk in the house after work, I smell my childhood. And it takes you back, and you just have a smile. And then she makes the German chocolate cake, and it's great. Everybody's got those kinds of foods. We found that out all across the country. And the reason we started to collect our family recipes actually started a couple of years earlier, when Kathy and I were going to go get sunglasses, because we were going to go down to Florida, and our sunglasses the prescriptions were shot. And so I went to my eye guy. He gave me a new prescription. Same guy saw Kathy an hour later, said, you know what? There's something in the back of your eye. Come back in 6 months. And we went, it just looks like a little freckle. Come back in 6 months. We went back in 6 months, and he looked at it and he said, you know, can you go across town and see my friend, the retinal specialist? And she did. And we got there, and the guy said, okay, could you see somebody I know in Philadelphia? And Kathy said, absolutely. When? And the guy said, right now, because it looked really like a very scary thing.
It had changed colors, but I had no symptoms. And it turned out we didn't go that night because there was a blizzard, but we got up in the middle of the night to drive to Philadelphia. And the scary thing was that since there were no symptoms, and it was a highly aggressive form of a retinal melanoma that could spread through your body.
But we didn't know that.
We didn't know that at the time. But when I went the next day, this super doctor, Carol Shields at the Wills Eye Hospital in Philadelphia came in after a day's worth of all kinds of different MRIs and CAT scans and lots of drips and tests in the eye, came in, and the first thing she said was, I just want you to know I'm going to save your life.
Because you have eye cancer. And a lot of the people who are watching right now, they've heard a doctor say you've got cancer, and it is the scariest thing that can happen. Your heart stops, then you have to figure out what to do. They have got it all figured out there where they do radiation, and it's too graphic to explain, very painful. But when Kathy was being treated, she'd had the procedure and she had a radioactive plaque, like something about the size of a dime, filled with plutonium or something on the back of her eye. And she had to sleep with it for 5 days. They sewed her eye shut, and for 5 days, she could not see. We were in a dark room the whole time. I had to stay 6 feet away from her. It was a lot like being in COVID, but she was radioactive, and so I couldn't get close. And one sleepless night, I would say about 3 nights in, Kathy realized that there was something that she had to do.
Well, the kids were in the room and I could hear them talking, and they'd go get us food and come back. And I thought, I don't know how this is going to go, and I don't know if it's spread or not. I have to go home back to New Jersey and write out all of my kids' favorite recipes, because they're in, I tore something off there. I'm writing in the book. I didn't have whole tomatoes. I used crushed, like all the things for like Peter's chili that he loves, like all the foods that they love. All I could think of were putting the recipes in my mind so that I could write everything out so that they could have them. And then I thought about it for a couple of days, and then I told Steve, and I said, these are our kids' happy foods. You have a happy food, your mom's pot roast and German chocolate cake. I think some of your friends that you work with may have happy foods. Maybe we should write about it.
And so that's where the idea for the original Happy Cookbook came from. And we traveled across the country and we met thousands of people. A lot of them came to see me, but so many people came just to see Kathy. They were cancer survivors, touched by her story, and they just wanted to shake her hand. And in the new cookbook, we actually tell a lot of those stories in it. But we were, so it would have been 2 years ago, right about now, we were traveling, and what we noticed is repeatedly, we heard the same thing from people. And the thing was, they would say, I'm so excited to get your cookbook because I'm going to give it to my daughter, or I'm going to give it to my neighbor, or I'm going to give it to somebody else. And Kathy said, well, why are you giving the cookbook away? And they said, well, I don't have time to cook.
And so I said, another idea, I said, we should write a book about happy recipes you can make quickly, that you can make in a hurry. How about Happy in a Hurry? I said, there seems to be a real need out there for people that want to have home cooked food that's easy. Right. And all the recipes in here are pretty easy. And in the first book too, I was worried people would think it was too easy because there's nothing super fancy or fancy ingredients. It's everything you can find at your local store. That's
right. And so the whole idea was to make it as streamlined as possible. And the ingredients are simple. The process is simple. It's just essentially comfort food. We do take some, we figure out every available shortcut on things to use instead, rather than cooking a whole chicken. You know what? You're only going to need 2 cups. Go get a rotisserie chicken. The grocery store sells it for half the price you can make it for. And we go through, we have some hurry hacks in the beginning where we talk about things you can do to save time. There is one chapter, the holiday chapter, where those foods actually take longer, but it's because we feel that these particular foods will be family traditions and you're all together in the house anyway, so why not spend more time making something fantastic? So anyway, that's the idea. It's now not just happy, it's happy in a hurry. And Peter Doocy, let's start with you. What is your happy in a hurry? Well, I know what you grew up eating. What's your happy in a hurry food?
Well, before we get to that, Jay from Woodcliff Lake, I've been wondering how you made the transition to cookbook expert. I think that we have covered that. And then on Facebook Live, for anybody else that is out there watching that, by the way, you buy the book right now at hurrycookbook.com. You also get the old, not the old, timeless recipes.
You get both
you get
of
the first cookbook and the second cookbook. So we've got that. But just a couple other comments streaming in to your story from earlier. Mary Lou on Facebook Live said, "Thank goodness for the doctors." And Connie
Yes.
wrote, "Met you and Kathy in Tampa."
Oh,
Look at that.
nice.
How great is that? Well, we
my
love all the
favorite
stories. And a lot, we've got some pictures of some of the folks we met along the way in the new cookbook that you will see when it comes out next Tuesday. So that's really gratifying that not only do they come and get come to meet us the first time, but they've come to see us on Facebook Live and here on the live stream. All right.
My favorite recipe, to your point, and I've got it here in the Detroit Delta Lounge, page 83, the Peter's Chicken Tikka Wraps. It is a throwback to when my cousin Dane and I spent the summer in Oxford, England, when we were in high school. And it was the most exotic thing that I had ever eaten, chicken tikka, but it was like all that they had there. And so we went from place to place looking for chicken tikka. And my dad, the first listed author on this book, he tested so many different ways to make the sauce and to put it on a press, or whether it needed to be just on a grill, a flat grill, and it came out perfect. So if you follow the instructions.
Peter, show I think there's a picture, the page before, where you were a high school kid with a bad haircut. Show that picture because it's at the actual place that you would get it.
It's this next.
There you are. And so
The bad haircut part, I think we could have all done without, but I see somebody right there. Just a future, just this guy's going to be standing with a microphone.
oh yeah, there's Sally and Mary.
Asking if Joe Biden wants to talk about packing the court.
That's right.
Packing the senior wrap.
You know, and Peter, Peter described for me exactly where that restaurant was. And in fact, I took that picture, but we had only been there to Oxford one time before. And so I actually looked up online for that place, figured out what that place is, figured out essentially what they served there. They no longer served that. So I did a number of interviews with Peter and figured out what was in it, how they'd make it. Was steamed. When we make it now, I mean, you go to the international food section at the grocery store and they've got this simmer marsala sauce, and it is so good. It saves 2 hours, once again, because people want to be happy in a hurry. You can make that whole meal in less than 30 minutes, and it's really good. Peter, I thought you were going to say your favorite food was your chicken parm cheesy meatballs that have
that too. But I'm feeling the tikka. Pat, when Pat and I were on the road earlier, Pat, you're going to be a part of this. I'm sorry, he didn't realize this. When we were assigned to do the Nevada primary earlier this year, a lot of time in Las Vegas. A week in Las Vegas is way too long, but we made a point to go to every fancy Italian restaurant and get the chicken parm. And so it's not that is not my favorite. It also, shout out to Guy Fieri. We also got the Fieri chicken parmaroni, which is just chicken parm with pepperoni sauce, and we had that as well. But I just haven't had the tikka in as long. So we did the chicken parm tour a few months ago, and I have not had tikka in a year. I'm all chicken parm down for right now. Not the cookbook,
right,
but the So my favorite right now is, and I do just want to, we've got a lot of questions coming in. We've got just a lot of traffic.
You know
right
what?
now.
As you ask us a question, Kathy and your mother and I are signing cookbooks because it's a live signing.
So,
right
Sam,
now.
we've got just a throwback to the first cookbook. Kristen on Facebook says the baseball buckle is her favorite. Ruth from Facebook is
Hold on,
saying,
Peter, what was the name of your? You know what? We shouldn't give the name.
sorry, that was Kirsten on Facebook.
Okay.
And then Ruth from Facebook is saying to Dad, you have the best wife. But we've got a couple live ones here. Kathy from Cleveland, Tennessee, wants to know, what's it like to work together? Any squabbles about which recipes to put in the book?
You know, sometimes there are differences of opinion when
But he
it comes
just had to figure out that I'm always right.
to.
Mom is always right.
And she always is. You know, I like to make things a little too spicy, and Mom will say, you know, that's just a little too spicy. So I try to push the envelope. You want a little zesty, and then Mom will say, you know what, whatever that is, I think those are red pepper flakes. I think you need to back those off a little bit.
But sometimes he's heavy-handed with the garlic.
All right. Another question. Nancy from New Fairfield, Connecticut wants to know, are your recipes designed for novice cooks?
Oh yeah, that goes to Kathy's earlier point where we try to make it simple. You know, we are not professionally trained, but although at age 7, I did win a blue ribbon at the Kansas State Fair when I made Toll House cookies.
And one of the best parts about this book are all of the old pictures. You know, you've seen my dad on TV, you've seen him on Instagram, you've seen him on Facebook. You've not seen some of these old photos. So,
Peter, let me show folks where I got the recipe for the cookies. I'm going to show people where I got the recipe for the cookies that won me the blue ribbon. It was on the Nestle.
Nestle Toll House.
I just made that, and they gave me a blue ribbon.
All right, so Mom, you can start with this one then. Ellen in Alpharetta, Georgia wants to know, what are the best staple items to have in the fridge, and do you grocery shop the day before you cook?
Yes. Steve would tend to shop day of, but now that we're in the pandemic, I try to be more organized with the order so I can at least plan a few days in advance. And I would say a great staple to have is pasta. We've got a recipe in the first book for peanut butter noodles and honey that kids love, and I've heard a lot of people's grandkids love. So I think you do have to think ahead with the pandemic and not go to the grocery store as often as maybe we would have gone last year.
You know, we do a lot of tacos. We have Taco Tuesday, sometimes on Wednesday
And Thursday.
and Friday. In our refrigerator right now, there's probably 5 pounds of the good taco meat that is just cubed. But I'm going to show you something. Kathy and our daughter Sally, who, by the way, Sally is working this event as well. She's over there. She's manning a computer. She's probably shopping. The two of them during the pandemic, they found something. They found something that has become such a staple. We a couple of days ago, Kathy bought a ham at Costco, and Costco, and we had like a pound left. And I was trying to figure out what I would make for lunch.
And Dad, while you're up, and maybe Mom, you can help me with this one. Mavis is asking on Facebook, how do you order a signed copy of the book?
Well, I think she's on Facebook. You can get a couple different ways. You can go to the Hurry Cookbook. They will have signed copies. Also, you can go to barnesandnoble.com, and Books A Million have copies as well. Anyway, going back, I made this ham salad today. I'm being told by Sally that we need to have faster answers. I made this ham salad, but rather than putting it on bread, because we didn't have any, they found these. these cheese wraps. Peter, have you had
I have. Mom made some of those for me over when I was down socially distanced for
Right.
Sally's wedding.
Right, because I had one of those little honey baked hams, and to wrap it, that one was a Parmesan cheese, and they only have one carb and they're low in calories.
Yeah.
And these are cheddar, which you would like to.
So the
Got one.
the long answer is that's my favorite staple item now. We always have those cheese wraps in the refrigerator. All right, lightning round,
for
Peter, throw up.
This is for both of you, I think, from Julie in Prospect, Virginia. How do you keep your grown children around the table on a regular basis?
You just make the foods that they like, and they come back for more.
That's true.
And they take it on the campaign trail. I got to be on the road for like 20 days. I think I have to go to 2 debates, but I have a hardcover book. How many pages is this book even? It's
like 320 pages, maybe.
It's well, the last page that I opened up to in the index, 301, before the notes. That's a heavy book, and I have it with me. I keep bugging everybody that's booking the travel. Let's go stay at a Residence Inn because we got to get through that Happy in a Hurry cookbook on the road.
Are you making the recipes on the road?
That's more of a. I think Pat is probably more of the chef, but Carolyn is also writing on Facebook that she wishes that you guys could meet in person. And then I've got one from.
I know. So do we.
Annelle in Granbury on the live signing. What is one of your funniest family memories?
Okay, I'm going to, I was not there for this, but in the cookbook, Peter mentioned not only is it recipes, and you've seen me through on TV, but there are a lot of historic pictures from our family. Plus there are funny stories. The story of how I came up with the eggs in a nest is hilarious. It also involved, well, it's too complicated. Antonin Scalia shows up in, you got to read that. The time I invited Ronald Reagan to dinner at our house in Washington, D.C., and he seemed to accept. And of course, at the time, we did not even have drapes. We were newly married, and
we didn't have a table.
We didn't have a table. But my favorite story in the cookbook is about, Peter, when you were about 7 or 8 years old, you and Mom and Sally and Mary went over to the A&P, one town over. It was after school, and you saw in the cheese case something that you had only seen on television before.
Polio ricotta. And I remember there was a lady who was singing in an opera song about polio. And with the opera, you can really figure out, and polio, so polio. And I took a lot of liberties with that as a
jokester.
Maybe a 5th grade, 6th grade kid. And somebody did approach us from the aisle over.
You sang really loud, according to Mom's.
It was very loud. I think Mom wanted me to probably keep it a little bit quieter, but voice like that, I can't.
Voice of an angel.
Yeah, so anyway, this person comes over and they're very well dressed, and Mom was positive that it was the assistant manager from the A&P or wherever they were, and she was going to have to surrender her check cashing card and be denied the rest of her life because your whippersnapper kid was making too much noise. But as it turns out, the woman was a talent scout from a top New York City school, and they were trying to recruit. They said, "Ma'am, your son has the voice of an angel," and handed her the card and said, "We would love to have him come and audition. And, you know, after this, he can go get a scholarship and all that stuff." Peter, that sounds familiar, right?
It does. And I'm just going to keep it moving with a couple of the comments.
Okay.
We have Kramer on Facebook who's saying, "Do you remember when Peter and friends saw how many pumpkins would fit in a Mini Cooper?"
Yes.
And Kramer on Facebook Live, yes, I do remember that very well. It was like the first day of my job at a grocery store, and my dad shows up with a camera crew and the new Mini Cooper, and they want to pull me out while I'm supposed to be like pulling milk out of the fridge to see if I could come out front. It just was not pumpkins, it was watermelons. See how many watermelons. And I put so many watermelons in that thing, Kramer on Facebook, that Mini Cooper was scraping the pavement.
Right.
And
The
I think
axle.
he tried to drive it. It wasn't our car. It was just I think he got passed around a lot of networks. I was just at the Market Basket in Franklin Lakes. I was not responsible for the Mini Cooper, but
15.
He
I
was,
was 15.
he was
Yeah,
really tall.
maybe 16.
He had that same haircut. But Peter, the reason we did that was because Mini Cooper had unveiled that car for American use, and they said, you won't believe how many people you can get in that. And I said, so you're bragging about how much stuff you can get it? And they said, absolutely. I said, I can take it to a grocery store and have my kid fill it full of watermelons, and you did.
And I did. Okay, we got a couple things here. We're gonna do a lightning round, okay? With the live signing. Who keeps the spices organized at the house, Steve or Kathy?
Dad.
Right here. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Ask me for a spice.
But that's also
Paprika.
a COVID.
Paprika.
That's a COVID thing because he pretty much alphabetized them while he was.
All right, we got the spice classics. And that was from Jenny in Lawrenceville. Where's Jenny? Lawrenceville, Georgia. We've got Christy in Carmel, Indiana, and maybe I'm going to want to mute myself for this one. But Mom and Dad, what is your favorite romantic dinner for two to make? Oh. Sally, leave the room. Sally, just go out to the deck, please.
Earmuffs.
That's easy. My favorite. For the folks who read the first cookbook, you know that on our first date, Kathy invited me over. We met at work, and I worked in the news department and she worked in the sports department down in Washington, D.C. at the NBC station there. And I'd seen her in the hall. Eventually, I
shared with us a family recipe of an artichoke dish with chicken that's so good.
It's
that's
great.
Their family go-to.
Judge
John down in Somerville, South Carolina is wondering if you personally tried all these recipes.
Many times, and let me tell you, given the normally we would go out maybe once or twice or three times a week for dinner, but during the pandemic we were here for all the meals, and I wound up making all the recipes many times because Kathy would come up with the recipes, tell me exactly how to do it. I would write it down, and then I would be the person to make sure that her recipe worked. So I would just keep doing it until it was absolutely perfect.
But also we don't have an assistant. We have when our children are here, our older children, but I still think of them as children. We have them taste test a little bit of this, a little, not so much sugar or no powder, go through things, but it's not the dishes. It's not the actual cooking. It's the dishes. When you make a recipe 3 times in one night or one day.
And to that point, Mom, Trisha in St. Petersburg on the live signing, St. Petersburg, Florida, wondering, she says, we have 3 kids who are all going to leave the nest within the next couple of years. How do you deal with going from a full house to a quiet house?
You know, it's hard. It was really hard at first, and but we found that doing different things. You know, Dad gets off early. We'd go out for lunch, or maybe go out to dinner on a weeknight at, of course, early birds at 4:45.
That was pre-pandemic.
So
of course.
we planned different things to do, and pretty much waited for you guys to call us.
And here's the thing, you know, when you become an empty nester, they always come back because they need stuff. They leave stuff in the basement. They leave it in their room. I mean, Peter, we could go up to your room right now. There is a shirt on the floor that you left there in 1978. I'm just saying.
That's a joke.
Yes, 8 years before I was born, that shirt that I left in the New Jersey house. We've got a couple others. We've got Brandy on Facebook saying that she loves you guys and it reminds her of her family growing up. And then we've got Patricia Nazaro in Saddle River, New Jersey, not far from where you live.
Hello.
Is it Kathy or Steve that invent the best new dishes for dinner?
You know what? It's a joint effort because we usually, sometimes Kathy will see something in a magazine and she'll say, what if we did that idea? And then we did something else. Like in the new cookbook, there is something, we were at a restaurant. Actually, it was in Florida. It was at a fish place. And they had this, do you remember the mashed potato egg roll?
Mm.
It was so good. It was just, but it was mashed potatoes in an egg roll, fried. And it sounds like, okay, fried mashed potatoes. But we started making it and we put bacon and scallions and cheese in there. And it's just off the chart good. It's in our tater chapter. We've actually got a whole chapter about taters. Peter's favorite.
And we've got, just to the points about all these recipes, we've got Carolyn on Facebook who says your first cookbook was her favorite Christmas gift, and Sea Island Brunswick stew is her favorite. She's looking forward to cooking new recipes. So thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
On Facebook. It sounds like she's going to have both. And again, anybody watching on Facebook, if you buy the new one, you also get the first edition.
Right.
And it is included. Just, you got to go onto the live signing right now. Hurrycookbook.com. Catherine in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania is wondering, did we host large family get-togethers before COVID?
Well, you know, given the fact that we have two children who live in Washington, D.C., although one of them currently is living at like a Best Western in the Detroit area. Or where were you today? Flint, Michigan. We're in Flint.
Flint, Michigan, yeah.
Okay.
We did find Kamala Harris, by the way. Just got to pull up a special report on your DVRs.
No, Peter, I saw you talk to her.
She waved.
She just didn't talk back. It's one of those things. You asked her a question and she could decide. That's why you have a good job. For the most part, we all of our children are so busy. We're only able to get together, I would say, 4 times a year. But when we do, we make it a big to-do, and that makes it more special. I mean, it's great to see, you know, Sally lives nearby right now after she got married. And so we see her every weekend. And we actually look forward to seeing her on the weekend. But, you know, seeing everybody together like we did at her wedding, which was 7 weeks and 3 days ago, was
10-person wedding. That's the dream size for a wedding.
Party of 10.
That's right. And Peter Doocy was actually the officiant because after their wedding was postponed, then it was canceled. We could only have 10 people. And then the priest who was going to do it passed away suddenly. Peter actually was involved, perhaps marrying somebody who is there at the Delta Club to his wife a few years ago, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that.
Peter was ordained on the internet, and so he dusted that off and he performed Sally and Allie's wedding, and it was all ready to go. August 1st, 5 o'clock. And that's exactly when the hurricane hit. And so we stayed inside. So whatever
And
possibly could have gone wrong did. But it was a beautiful event.
All of this and more in the new cookbook. Again, it's just, it's a good thing you don't have to keep the carry-on bags underneath 50 pounds, because this thing is adding 100 new recipes worth of weight to my luggage. We've got a couple comments coming in from Facebook.
I had no idea you were such a salesman. Just say it. Just act now. Get 2 cookbooks for the price of one at the Hurry.
Do you have to order it today to get the free one, or?
Why not?
We've got a couple recipes coming in here. We've got Ruth saying these are all from Facebook. Okay. Ruth saying this is a great idea for Christmas. Ruth, you're right.
Thanks, Ruth.
Kat is saying she's already made 2 recipes from the first cookbook. She loved them both, and she has pre-ordered the Kindle for this one.
Thank you.
Hilda is wondering where she can buy the book. She's from Louisiana.
Officially on Tuesday, a week from today, it will be on sale everywhere. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, your local independent store. You can get it. And by the way, you can get it at Walmart. And if you get it at Walmart, I have not told anybody this yet, but there is a special whole tailgating chapter. I don't have.
And if you buy the book, if you go somewhere, if you're comfortable going somewhere to buy the book on Tuesday, or if it comes on Tuesday because you pre-order, you can make an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert to then sit and watch the first presidential debate moderated by Chris Wallace right there on Fox from Cleveland. That's one of our next stops. So we'll be there. And I just hit one of my legs. I don't think I'm going to be home before that. So I'll be at a residence inn somewhere, I don't know, Midwest, and just cooking out of this.
Well, Peter, we're actually, Kathy and I are putting together a recipe for foxnews.com that's going to run on the website for something to eat on debate night. So we'll go ahead and have people on Facebook Live vote. I want you to vote. We want to do something patriotic. So should it be the red, white, and blue salad? Now, how clever is that? Kathy cuts the cheese out with a cookie cutter, and the watermelon, and then you throw blueberries. It's red, white, and blue. Delicious, and then you put a balsamic drizzle on.
And just for a lot of the people, I would say, and we do have Deb on Facebook saying that she just ordered a signed copy. She can't wait to get them both. But a lot of people, I think, heard about the book last time, who might not watch the morning show, but they would see on the 9 p.m. Eastern Fox show, Sean Hannity was concerned that his recipe was not in the beginning of the book, it was at the end of the book. So in this book, I noticed that the Sean Hannity recipe is closer to the beginning. Why is that?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because his last recipe, the recipe Sean did in the Happy Cookbook, it was for corned beef and cabbage. So we put that in the holiday section, and that's at the way back. And Sean was a little steamed because every other Fox host was ahead of him. And so we saw him one night at an event, and I said, okay, Sean, you want to get closer to the front of the new cookbook, come up with an appetizer. And he did. And it is Sean's cheesy mac and cheese rolls. And here it is right here, Sean's mac and cheese rolls. And let me tell you something. That could be one of the best things in the cookbook. I actually cut a series based on the cookbook. It's called Cooking in a Hurry, that's going to start running on Fox Nation. Thank you very much. Next week. This was the thing that everybody in the crew absolutely wanted to eat. Peter, let's go back to my earlier question. What should I put up on foxnews.com for the debate meal? And Facebook Live people, should it be this particular salad? It's the very patriotic salad, or should it be the red, white, and beautiful cobbler? You know, it's like, what would you want to eat at 9 o'clock at night? Like, because I'm leaning toward the cobbler.
You know, I'm looking for, forgive me, I dropped the book and I lost my page, but the chicken parm item that bears my name is something that would be great as a post-dinner thing, just for people that want a little something extra. I can't.
Well, you like chicken parm. I was looking for something patriotic. That's why I was going red, white, and blue.
Chicken parm, you got the red and the white, and then just have a blue napkin so people can.
All right, I will take that under advisement, Peter.
Okay, well, here at the Airport Lounge Bureau, it's going to have to sign off here in a minute just to get to our gate. See, Pat's right here. He's been giving me the hand signs. Good stage manager.
Okay. So, Peter, for the people who watch you on the news, where are you going next?
Well, we were with Biden yesterday in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and we were with
Manitowoc.
Yeah, if you say so. And then we were with Kamala Harris today in Flint, and we're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina tomorrow. No idea where yet. They'll tell us at some point, or they won't. We'll just see them and we'll drive that way.
And you are right now at the Detroit International Airport at the Delta Lounge, right?
About a little further away from our gate than I thought we were going to be, but yeah, we're at the A38 Lounge. Again, if anybody wants to come and say hi, although I did just get the alert, our flight is boarding.
Okay,
So.
you go. You got to go. All right.
All right.
Great job.
Thanks, Peter.
And we are going to do another one of these next week. So I tried to get to as many questions as we could, but if not, we will see you in a couple days.
All right, Peter, get up there and just go running toward the gate and take Pat. Come on, go. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thanks,
right.
Peter.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Pat.
Be careful. All right. Love you. And there he goes. Now it's just us. Luckily, we do have Sally here. Sally's the one who had the wedding 7 weeks ago in the hurricane. So Sally, why don't you come on over here and go ahead and, first of all, come, because your brother was on camera, come on over here so folks can see you.
Hello, Mom and Dad. You're doing great.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Good
much.
job. Yes.
Oh, wait, look, that's us.
It's on
Hello.
a little bit of a delay, but all the fans on Facebook are loving this.
And there you are. All
So
right.
I'll just read it.
This is a lot of fun.
Things.
And by the way, this is the latest I have waited for a drink on a school night. Usually I will have my drink at 6 o'clock. And now I don't get it till 8.
So Audrey says, looking forward to receiving the cookbook. We'll try the peanut butter and honey noodles.
That was, the peanut butter noodles were in the first cookbook. So if they did that 2-for-1 deal, she'll get both, which is great.
Rita says, go Nova.
Of course.
Go Wildcats.
Patricia says, so how do I order a book?
Well, I think we answered that. You can order a book wherever you get your books. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, your local bookstore, you know, they're open. They would love that. Walmart, Target, you name it. And of course, if you were watching the live signing event, if you go to, or you're not, actually, if you're watching on Facebook Live, if you go to the live signing website, which is Premier Collectibles, they've got a 2-book for the price of 1 deal, and you can't beat that. Thank you, Patricia, for that question. That's a good one.
Rita suggests have a drink.
Thank you, Rita. I'm going to go 12 more minutes. I'm going to wait, but then I've got to do my work for tomorrow. The producers send us all the information about the guests that we know of. But with breaking news, we don't know exactly what we're going to be talking about. So for the guests we know of, they tell us what the people's thoughts are on different subjects and things like that. And we read it all the night before. So that's my work. And I will start that at 8 o'clock.
It looks like the fans have spoken. They really would love to see the cobbler out of you guys next week.
So for the debate, the cobbler,
That's what it looks like.
I'm with you on that.
The cobbler is great with either some whipped cream on it or some vanilla ice cream. It's really good.
You know, actually, the cobbler, we make the cobbler sometimes on the grill outside. And something else we make on the grill because we love it. And there are 2 recipes for a Dutch baby in the new cookbook. And what a Dutch baby is, we like to cook with a cast iron skillet. And you put the cast iron skillet in an oven or in the grill, and you get it really hot. And when it's just about 450 degrees, something like that, you put a little piece of butter in there, as long as it doesn't catch on fire. And you don't want it so hot. But when it's real, and the correct temperature is in the cookbook. But you pour a batter in it, and it makes a Dutch baby, and it just folds up, and it's so beautiful. It's one of those things that when you see, you think, wow, what is that? And it's a Dutch baby. I'm going to show folks. Here's one right here. This, can you see the main batter part? That is so good. This is Sally's husband actually came up with this, Allie. We were having breakfast one day, and I made them the Dutch baby. And I said, so, and Allie and Sally met at SMU in Dallas. And I said, okay, so what do you think? And he said, it's okay. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you know, if you ordered this in Dallas, where they went to school, it would come with avocado on it. It would come with a couple of eggs. It would come with some jalapenos. And so we started making it that way. And we actually named it Allie's Dallas Dutch Baby because, and here's a secret that is about to be told. In the first cookbook, when Sally used to take the bus to work, she would just grab a breakfast. And so we came up with like Sally's grab and go eggs. And that's what we called them. Sally's grab and go eggs. Sally didn't help me with the recipe. Her boyfriend, Allie, helped me. But we thought, you know, if we put Allie's name on it and they break up, every time we look at the cookbook, it's like, I can't stand to think about that loser who dropped our angel. So anyway, they got married and they're having a great time and they're a beautiful couple. And so now, and Allie's completely part of our family, and so is the entire Sadri family. We love them all. And so he's got props in the new cookbook. Just saying. Congratulations.
Thank you. I have a question.
Yeah.
This is from Sally from the New York area. So we went on the book tour 2 years ago. You met thousands of fans, sold so many books. What does a book tour look like in the year 2020? You're launching next week. What's it going to be like?
Well, this is what the book tour looks like everywhere now. It is not safe to, because how many people did we shake their hand?
Thousands.
And how many people did we take how many people just hugged us?
Thousands.
Thousands of
But
people.
it was great. It was so much fun.
Right, it was. And right now, you just can't do it. We would feel terrible if we got somebody sick. And, bookstores have got to be careful. So this time, the pandemic tour is where we do this virtually. We've signed and are signing so many books for everybody to have, so they can have the stories, have the recipes, have the memories. We will be with you again someday, but this is not the year. It's 2020. Let's just fast forward to the end of this and like the odometer flipping over. Let's get to a new year and move on. Let's get past this where it is manageable and we can go back to normal.
Actually, something that we never did before that's interesting is that HarperCollins, our editors, sent us the autograph page, and we signed thousands that then get put into the book.
Yeah, like we're doing right now, we're signing the cookbooks that so many of you will have in your kitchen or your living room.
And our book plate.
Yes, indeed. And we are going to, actually, we keep all of our cookbooks. We have more cookbooks than anything else in our,
I love cookbooks.
she does, in our, I guess when I was broadcasting from our house, we used to call that the sunroom. Now we call it the library because our daughter's law school books were behind me for 3 months when we did the show out of this house. Anyway, Sally, we should sign some more.
Yes, Lucy from Facebook says, I ordered the 2-for-1 deal live signing. Thanks,
Great.
Lucy. She said,
I love Lucy.
loved the first cookbook, and I'm looking forward to receiving your new one.
Nice.
That's great. Thank you very much, Lucy.
Erin says, can't wait to get your new cookbook. Just had a new son, and his name is Steve.
Nice.
Really? Oh, that's great. Thank you. Well, not that it had anything to do with us, but that's great.
So it looks like we're about out of time. Everybody's saying goodnight on Facebook.
Well, thank you very much. You have no idea, when this whole process started with an idea that Kathy had in the middle of the night. And ultimately our family became closer because we all worked together to put the recipes together. And Kathy would ask people, the kids, what was that thing that you used to always like? And then, oh yeah, I used to make that. And so we put so many of our recipes together. We've got so many of our friends' recipes. The new cookbook, Judge Janine's got something in there. Marcus Luttrell, Dana Perino, Brian Kilmeade, Ainsley Earhart. We've got Brett Baer and Amy Baer. We've got Sean Hannity. Pretty much all of our neighbors around here have helped us out with their recipes. So we really hope that some of these become your family recipes as well. And because you don't spend all day in the kitchen, you can be happy in a hurry. Just saying. Thank you very much for joining us on this live signing. I'd like to thank our friends at Premier for producing this today. Thanks to Peter Doocy, who is now running through the terminal at the Detroit airport, and for Sally, who is about to say so long,
Thank you
so long
all.
from New Jersey.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.